Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third and final season of our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition chronicle, Blood on the Grand Strand. This is episode 1, I Can't Forget You. Let's meet our unforgettable vampires, starting with Laura.
Hi, folks. You can call me Laura or Tutu or LauraTuTu, and I will be playing Victoria, the gangrel.
Thank you. And Syriinx.
Hey, I'm Syriinx. I'll be playing Azariah Durand, the Tsumitsu.
We'll be joined by another vampire after the break, and we'll let them introduce themselves at the dramatically appropriate time. Time has passed since the end of Season 2, with the explosion of Club Karma. If anything that you're watching seems unfamiliar, I suggest you watch our adjacent Thin Blood chronicle, Are We Dead Yet? But if you haven't, don't worry. Allow me to set the scene. How much time has passed, Victoria? It's impossible to say. You cannot move, nor speak. You are simply lying on the cold floor in one of the safe rooms of Pirate's Voyage. Your eyes open to the stippled white ceiling with a stake through your heart. The call of the beckoning has quieted somewhat, and this relief is opening a floodgate of memories inside your mind. You have walked this earth for over 2 centuries, and there's only so much you can recall clearly the further time carries it all away. The ceiling above you begins to swirl and change before your eyes, and the alabaster color soon gives way to shades of cerulean and cream. The warm air carries the scent of tobacco leaf, sugarcane, and citrus fruits, and the sun feels pleasant on your skin. Your eyes search the port in the distance for familiar sails as you lean against the wrought iron fence along the balcony of your Casa Solariga, your manor home. The year is 1794. It's been 1 year since you've seen your lover, Ignacio, and 7 years since you've seen your father. Every day you stare at the harbor, waiting for the day they return home from the war across the ocean. You hear your daughter cooing in her bassinet behind you, and as you turn to check on her, you see your tia, your aunt, standing before you. Maria Victoria, for who you were named, is dressed in a black silk petticoat, a basanquinha, with a fine gold and coral rosary wrapped around her wrist. She holds out her hand to you, waiting for the appropriate greeting for the station that she possesses as Duquesa de Navarra, the Duchess of Navarre. So you bend down, even though you are dressed nothing like your aunt. You're wearing just your linen shift, what you would wear under such a fine dress. You bend down, you kiss her hand, and she places her other hand against your cheek and lifts you up ceremoniously. It is good to see you, Sabrina. I have missed you.
I have missed you as well, Tia.
What are you doing looking out at the ocean?
Waiting, as I always do.
I see. Waiting for whom?
At this point, it's hard to say.
Your servants have told me that they are worried for you, that you spend all your days on this balcony, waiting, not dressing, not eating. Is this true?
How can I think of anything else when half of my heart is across that ocean? What am I supposed to do, Tia?
Your tia turns around and picks up Simone out of her bassinet. And what of her, Sabrina? Do you not think of her?
Of course I do.
Your tia, she cradles Simone in her arms and then passes her over to you to hold. Take her. Take your daughter in your arms.
And I do. I take my daughter, cradling her head in my hand and bringing her close to my chest so she can hear my heartbeat.
If you care for your Miha, you should listen to my proposition. It is why I am here. Your Tio, your uncle, got a new position from the Emperor. We are to be ambassadors to Portugal, and we would like to take Simon with us.
She is my daughter.
Yes. But you are a senora with no husband, a bastard child, and no father to marry you, to give you his estate. A woman alone in this world has no power. But we are familia. If I take Simone with me, you can find yourself a fat, old, stupid, rich man, and you can marry him. Inherit your father's estates, because, please, Sabrina, we must be realistic. Your father, he's not coming home. And your stable boy was never a husband to begin with. That was a fling you have after you're married.
It was not a fling. It was not some dalliance. I love Ignacio and he loves me.
That is all well and good, but where is he?
Fighting. Like many men.
Yes, well, when you have a husband, they can get more information than just the gossip around the seamstresses. The wars that are being touted by this Napoleon, they are not going well. Many men are not coming back. I care for you, Sabrina. You are my family. I want to help you, and this is how I can.
By taking my daughter from me. By separating me from the only thing I have left of the man I love, according to you.
By giving you a chance. Simone will come with us to the great imperial court of Portugal. She will have a wonderful education, many servants and tutors and governesses. She will have an advantageous marriage as the child of your Tio and myself. And you will be free to find your own love match, or not. But either way, should you marry someone of respectable status, then you will have this estate, this manor home you love so much, and all of your father's money. Then you will have it. Without it, you will be destitute, and what will happen to your daughter then?
Simone is my child.
See.
Mine.
Is this your final answer then?
Yes.
She holds her hands out, comes over and kisses you on both cheeks. Then I wish you luck, Victoria. Te amo.
I say nothing in return.
And she leaves. Beautiful scent that she carries, wafting in your nose. You turn back to the ocean, to the bright blue, waiting for those sails. The time shifts in your mind as you lay there, till you are laying down in your room. Simone Not next to you, but still in her bassinet. Close enough for you to reach from your bed. And you feel on your face cold fingers brush the hair out of your eyes.
I sit up. I push back.
You see your father in the shadows of the room. It's okay, Miha. I've come back.
Papa?
And he hugs you tightly, holds you. I know. I am sorry, Mia. I never meant to be gone so long. I love you.
They told me you were gone. They told me to give up.
Shh. It's all right. He cups your face in his hands. They were right. They were right. I was gone. But I'm back now. I was saved on the battlefield by a strong, powerful being.
Papa?
He's ice cold, Victoria. There's no warmth in him at all.
I reach out and I touch his face.
It's him, but it's hard, cold, and you don't see a light in his eyes. In fact, they look red like the devil himself.
El diablo.
No.
Santa Maria, el diablo.
No, Victoria, no.
Who are you? What have you done with my father?
I'm here to take you back with me.
No.
I won't leave you again. I need you.
No. I will try to escape. Get up, push away, go to my daughter, try to run.
You can try. But your father is fast, strong, and brutal, and as he grabs you and spins you around, suddenly, nothing matters. Not Ignacio, not Simone, not your life, not anything that mattered mere seconds ago. You feel the life drain out of you, and you're glad for it. You wish and hope that it will never end, or if it does, that you will be sunk deep into the sweet arms of oblivion. But it does not last, not forever. And when you wake up, you are on the floor. You see your hand sitting in a pool of some of your own blood, not much. And your father is standing over you, blood tears in his eyes. And he's saying to himself, Lo siento. Oh, my daughter, I am so... this was not supposed to happen.
I put my hand, my chest.
There is no heartbeat. Your chest does not rise and fall. There is no breath in you, no warmth, no life. Your father is a blubbering mess, crying, weeping, begging your forgiveness.
Where is Mija?
I took her out of the room. I thought that would be bad. She's screaming.
What is this? I don't understand. What is going on?
You're like me now. You're no longer amongst the living. We are dead now, Victoria. And I'm sorry. I missed you so much, and I just wanted to bring you with me, bring you to the... I guess it's not the colonies anymore, but to America. I just wanted you near. I missed you so much. I felt broken without you. Lost.
I don't... We are dead. Yet walking,
Yes.
speaking, I don't...
I know. It's confusing, but it won't... Victoria, I'm sorry, but we have to go. We can't stay here now.
But my daughter, Simone, would...
We must leave her. I had no idea that you had a child. You can leave her with your man, your esposo. You have one, yes?
I don't know. He was conscripted. Called to the battlefield like you. I haven't.
Then let's look for him. Perhaps he was saved like me. We should go. I love you, Victoria, and I'm sorry. But this is our life now, and it's happening fast, and it's difficult, but I'll explain everything on the way, I promise. I need to take you to meet the man who made me. Sapphire will explain everything.
I look back, still drawn to the sound of my daughter's voice, but I take my father's hand.
Do you do anything? Leave a note? You do have servants in this home somewhere. Do you tell them to get in touch with your tia? Or do you leave your daughter to the fate of whatever might come?
No, she... One way or another, at least Tia gets her way. I will see if I can find one of the servants.
Mm-hmm. You rap on the door of your handmaiden, the one who usually dresses you, brings you food, bathes you, Manuela. It's very late. And she says, Si, senora, I get up usually in 1 hour if you want a hot bath.
No, Manuela, I need you to get a message to La Duquesa.
See?
Something has happened, and I am doing my best to remain in the shadows. If my pallor is anything similar to my father, I don't want her to be...
Can make me a rouse check, Victoria. That is 1 dice, please.
That is a failure.
Mm-hmm. And as you're trying to communicate that you need her to get in touch with the Duquesa, suddenly you're overcome by this desire to bite into her neck, what you imagine your father had done. You can resist hurting her, but talking to her is going to start becoming very difficult until you eat something. Signora, are you unwell?
Don't get the message to La Duquesa. Tell her to take my daughter. Do not come any closer.
See? She looks very frightened. She runs past you out the door, soft feet padding down the stone steps.
I will turn back.
Your father is already waiting for you. As you turn around, you must eat, my darling. We must subsist on the blood of the living now.
Not here. Not in this house.
He looks down and he snatches a rat. Didn't even see it or hear it. It's running along the side. Then eat this. You need to, or we will not make this journey very far.
I will take the creature and tear into it.
Mm-hmm. And it does satiate you. And the idea comes to your mind as your father hurries you out of your hacienda, out onto a ship, takes you down to the bowels of it, and covers you in boxes and sacks and everything so that you can safely travel. You don't know why. He's so insistent that no one comes down here and no one harms you and no light gets in. You have it in your mind that perhaps you do not have to do what your father has done, the horrible thing that he has done to harm you. You can subsist on the blood of animals, perhaps. But your father murdered you, brought you back to life, took away everything that ever mattered to you, including your daughter. Your reverie breaks for just a moment, Victoria, and you come back to yourself paralyzed in Pirate's Voyage. And you feel that first drop of your own blood tears before you're sucked back into your own memories, as if you cannot control it. Nearly 100 years later, you're standing on the Champ de Mars. The noise of the exhibits of the World's Fair surrounds you. It is 1889. All you can see is the brand new wrought iron latest construction, Tour Eiffel. You couldn't see the unveiling during the day, of course, but you don't regret that. In the dark, the tower is lit by hundreds of gas lamps and beacons sending out 3 beams of red, white, and blue light. You see the line of people at the patisserie at its base, all of them dressed much like you, fitted and starched chemise, long jacket-like fitted bodices, and a large brimmed hat decorated with ribbons and mock flowers. But one of these people, at the patisserie, stares back at you, eyes gleaming, even in the darkness. Azariah, would you like to tell us what Victoria sees when she looks at you?
Much like all the other women at the place, she is dressed in the style of the century. A rather tall woman with a long dark red skirt, a dark red hat that is also decorated with feathers and such, and a coat, dark brown, of some kind of fur, all wrapped up tight as if the night air of Paris is cold and she needs to shield herself from it, tied all the way to the neck, and very clear green eyes that seem to be taking in, not rather keeping eye contact, but scanning Victoria. Also not hiding the fact that she's looking.
I will watch in return. Curious. But Storyteller, I imagine with the life I have led thus far and the others of my kind that I have encountered, that Predator would recognize Predator.
Most assuredly.
There is that moment where the beast recognizes what it sees and the hackles go up. Just for a moment. Territorial, you see. And I will smile, but it is sharper than most. And I will continue to walk past.
Azariah smiles, not open mouth, and watches Victoria walk off. She will look around once. Now everything totally uninteresting in the eye of having seen another one of her kind here, and one that's clearly not from Paris. Straightening up, she will start walking after Victoria, and we'll try to gauge what direction she's going in. We'll try to gauge if she can most likely maybe Victoria's going into some place because she knows she'll be followed or not. So Azariah is curious and waiting to see if what she's planning to do, but also maybe to catch her.
Yes, where is
She
it
knows
that
Paris.
you're planning to go? Yeah, sorry, it doesn't know Paris. Where is it that you're planning to go, Victoria? Are you going to the other exhibits at the World's Fair? This is a spectacle that does not come around very often. Or are you heading away from the Champ de Mars? Are you heading into perhaps a cafe? Pretend to have a glass of wine.
Mm-hmm. I think I would like to see the exhibits available.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, though I may have many lifetimes before me.
Oh yes, but this particular lifetime is different than perhaps the one you would have lived. What humans can do now, harnessing the power of steam to create trains, something you would have much rather taken from your home than a ship, to create vast machinery and factories that can make many things very fast, is worth noting, even for someone 100 years young.
And I would like to bear witness, marvel at this new modern world as it finds its legs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a gangrel knows when she is being tracked.
Most certainly. Unless we would like to see who is the top dog, the bigger apex predator amongst you.
I think that isn't a bad idea here.
I always like a challenge.
Mm-hmm. So, Victoria, with 1 red dice for your hunger, you can roll me 6 dice altogether. So 5 black, 1 red. And Azariah, you can roll me stealth and dexterity. So Victoria's wits and auspex for you.
Mm-hmm. That is 3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
4 successes.
Okay. So here's what happens. Victoria, you do know that someone is coming for you, and that someone is tracking you. And as you go to move to the next exhibit, well, this person is just a little bit faster. Just had you 1 up on the take, and she stands in front of you.
I'm assuming you're taking in the sights.
Bien sûr. It is something new, which we don't see very often.
I do have to say, and I turned a glance at the Eiffel Tower. It was built quite fast for humans. And as I turn back to look at Victoria, la lune se reflète dans tes yeux comme un loup en chasse. You're not from Paris, are you?
Am I that obvious? I cannot tell if that is intent to be flattery or not.
A wolf is a very beautiful and strong animal, is it not? And nighttime is when we are at our best. I'll leave the rest to you to figure out. Have you had the chance to go to the Opéra Comique yet? Marvelous things that humans made
No, I don't believe I've had the opportunity.
Perhaps I can convince you to stay in Paris a night longer. It does tend to get quite lonely here.
Are you in need of company, mademoiselle?
If you were to offer it in dire need. And who turns down a lady these nights?
What do they call you?
They call me Azariah, who I have the pleasure of meeting in my city.
You may call me Victoria.
Victoria, allow me to show you some of the beauties of Paris, since you seem to have an appetite for the human arts. Unless you have other places to be tonight, of course. But then again, what's one night for us?
It's little more than a heartbeat.
She turns so that she's not standing in front of you anymore, and so she's standing next to you, and she is holding out an arm, kind of in a hooked way, as a gesture to take it, and so they can walk.
A gesture to promenade, as it were.
To promenade, yes.
I will look. I will take a moment to consider, because one doesn't want to seem too eager, of course, but after a moment I will smirk and I will place my gloved hand in the crook of Azariah's elbow.
I will start walking to the district with the theaters and the operas. It's always busy at nighttime even. Where do you come from, Victoria? Have you stumbled into Paris by accident? Or come here with a purpose?
I come from what is now known as Cuba. But it has been little more than a century of travel and new faces. My sire thought it was time to see the old world. And so here I am.
It seems our sires had similar ideas. Although that's not what necessarily brought me to Paris. I find it quite a beautiful city with a lot of opportunities and a lot of people who seem to share one single mindset nowadays.
Azariah, I need a roll from you. I need an intelligence and academics roll.
You don't need anything from me, Huddy.
I absolutely need this from you.
Okay, academics and
Intelligence.
all right.
Azariah is nominally Sabbat, but not super involved. Not Camarilla, definitely independent. I need you to know if
5 successes.
she knows who the Prince of Paris is.
5 successes.
5 successes. Prince Villon.
Beyond?
Villon. Francois Villon.
Francois Villon.
It would be very strange for someone to randomly be in the city with their sire without having an affiliation. Now, you were born in France. You have been in France for a long time. You have your own connections here. You can live and move amongst the people independently. But rarely can a kindred do so, especially in the old world, where the Camarilla dominates.
So it would be strange that she could walk around here.
It would be, yes.
Without-
Were she, for example, one of the burgeoning anarch movement, she would be very unlikely for her to be here. It would be very dangerous for the Camarilla to find someone on their turf. But the fact that she is here, and she is not natively here, makes it very likely that she came as a guest of Prince Vion. Very powerful Toreador.
I think our sires had the similar idea. But that begs the question, if you are not here with your sire, are you here as a guest?
Storyteller, would I know whether or not my father had a specific purpose for being in Paris?
Oh, yes. Your father, who is employed as an archon under your grandsire, Justicar Xavier, a frightening name to anyone who is not in the Camarilla, and to some who are in the Camarilla, depending on if they've been naughty or not. Your father is here tracking Sabbat.
My sire is here on business. For the dower.
Quite a strong city to be in. I was hoping you would be a guest that would make it a bit more interesting and other. But regardless. So you just follow around? Or do you have your own goals and aspirations? You must.
My sire has his own purpose, his own calling within the ivory tower, as it were. I would say that I have proven myself to be level-headed enough to be left to my own devices. Take myself where my desire would have me follow.
So you follow your desire. Tell me. We have time. You've proven yourself. I would assume not just for level-headedness. A strong woman who comes to Paris following desire doesn't sound like someone who doesn't have goals and ambitions for herself. Doesn't sound like someone who has not been in situations where she has already proven herself once or twice. I'm eager to learn. It's not often that I find a new face around here.
And what is it exactly that you would like to learn, Mademoiselle?
Oh, anything you would tell me, of course. As I said, I'm in dire need of some entertainment tonight, some fun, some perhaps following desire. And you just so happen to be the one I set my eyes on. Just for tonight, of course.
What is one night for the likes of us?
I like those words a lot, Victoria. Now, if you'll indulge, I know a fine brasserie down in the Rue de Royale. And after that, I did promise to show you the Opera Comique. The humans there, they have a spark I have not seen in a long time. I enjoy watching them. It reminds me of old days, of mortal days. Perhaps I could do the same to you. Or perhaps you'll just have to indulge me.
I can be indulgent when it suits me.
Another thing we have in common, it seems. It just doesn't stop.
Very well. Mademoiselle, as I am still relatively new to the city, would you lead the way?
I'll show you some sights your eyes will never forget, Victoria. After all, this is Buddy. In the most beautiful century. Indulgence, beauty, excess. It's all the humans know now. Perhaps we as immortals can learn a little from it.
As you lead Victoria to this night of reverie, Victoria, this is the night that marks your passionate, years-long affair with Azariah Duran. Perhaps the most passion you've known since the first time Ignacio took you into his arms. But unlike with him, this relationship turned sour as the years passed. Azariah had a constant desire for you to sup from her surely divine blood, and also to feast on the mortals of Paris, although you refused, because you sustain yourself on the blood of animals. Your stubbornness was endearing at first, until it was not. In your shared chateau, nearby the very tower where you first met, 10 years later, Azariah laid down the ultimatum: drink or depart, for if you would not be hers, you surely must belong to someone else.
I am not a thing. I am not your toy. Why can we not just be as we have been?
Why is it so hard for you? You know this is inside of me. If you are not mine, you are someone else's, and I do not share, Victoria.
Who said anything about sharing? There is no one else. I have told you.
Then be mine.
Time and time again. No! I am my own.
I want things to continue as they have. And I want to share a lot of centuries with you. If I look back at that first night in Paris where I met you, it opened something, an idea, a sentiment I had not felt in a long time, a form of companionship that could last throughout the centuries. With you, you're extraordinary. You have so much potential. But I can't go on anymore knowing you're not mine. It burns me inside every night more and more. I want things to continue on, but you need to do this. Please, for me. Then we can continue on as we have, and Paris will be thus the more beautiful for the both of us. By each other's side, companions in this unlife, equals. I know I am asking a lot of you. But I can't help this desire inside of me.
Equals. You say that as if I am beneath you? Somehow, you speak of my potential, and yet tell me that I am already extraordinary. Tell me, Garinya, which is it?
You're already extraordinary, but with time, a few more decades, you could be even more than that. With the right person by your side, you could be even more than that. I could help you bring out that potential, and in return, you could help me get those sentiments back from years ago. We could help each other. But only if you drink.
I will close the distance. I will take Azariah's face in my hand. My thumb stroking the sharp plane of her cheek. Tell me, Garinya, when did you realize that you had more love for my potential than for the kindred that stands before you now? When was it determined that I would not be enough for you?
But you will be enough. As I said, give it a few more decades, and you won't even know what you're capable of. I don't see this as something that has to break us apart. I don't see this as not loving you. I love you and your potential. Is that so wrong? To want to see you rise to the occasion? I want to help you improve. And then she puts her hand on the hand that's already stroking her cheek. Let me help you improve, Victoria. Ma chère. That is all I'm asking here.
No. You are asking for me to bind myself to you, to give myself up and give myself over. You understand what that means for someone like me? After everything that has been done to me, happened to me, you would be just another leash. And I will not be leashed, Azariah. I would remain your companion. I would and do love you, but not with conditions. I will not be your plaything. I will not be your doll.
I already said it, ma chère. If you won't be mine, then you're someone else's. And if you don't want to be leashed, be loved, as you say, then perhaps you can leave. Because I cannot stand this anymore.
Then perhaps it is for the best. I will shove her face away from mine and turn on my heel.
I grab another glass and I throw it against the wall and say, "Défendre merde!"
This night marked an ending for you, Victoria, but also a beginning. Leaving Azariah behind to whatever fate, you dedicated to yourself to what your sire and grandsire always wanted you to, the Camarilla. And with that, we are going to take a very quick break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Blood on the Grand Strand, Season 3, Episode 1, I Can't Forget You. We are joined by two more vampires who are going to introduce themselves right now, starting with Harry.
Hello, I am Harry. I am playing Galen Somnus, the Salubri.
And Zach.
Hi, I'm Zachary Vaudo, and I am playing the minister character, Conanti. At this point in time, just Conanti.
Victoria, you have revisited the memories of your embrace and of your short-lived, passionate, but toxic relationship with Azariah Durand. And as the years pass like a reel before your eyes, you see yourself accepting the position of Archon under your grandsire, Justicar Xavier. And as the saying goes, if the Justicars are the hands of the Camarilla, the Archons are the fingers. The reel of your memories lurch suddenly and stop. You don't remember the city, you barely remember the year, but you do remember this night. You are surrounded by your fellow Archons, your assignment to root out a nest of Sabbat. But one has escaped, and they are running at supernatural speed into the heart of the city. In your sateen pants and cashmere sweater, you take off, leaping over fenced alleys and keeping your keen preternatural senses on your target, until you lose him. You find yourself in a back street facing a single metal door. There's nowhere else to go, so you go in. And you realize you're standing in a malt shop, a strange establishment to be open this late. In the corner, you see one person, a lone shadowed figure, smoking a cigarette. Conanti, would you like to describe what Victoria sees?
As described, a singular figure, pure white jacket, a hibiscus Hawaiian shirt, rather standard sunglasses, which sort of odd for this time of night, but so is being in a malt shop at this hour anyway. Seems like he's unwinding after a very long day. It's probably obvious that he's not human, though. Not for any visual notice, but there is an aura about him that you wouldn't get from most people, like mortal people, that is. And all of the circumstances combined together tell you this may not be the person that you were looking for, but this is somebody of interest, somebody to pay attention to.
And Conanti, as you are enjoying the very few mortal things that you allow yourself, you are much more familiar or comfortable allowing your followers to enjoy the mortal things, and you watching and feeding from their from the different flavors and resonances you get from their blood. Some person has wandered into your establishment, and they look like they've just been running.
We're closed for the evening, dear, but can I help you?
I apologize. I am, one moment, please. There was actually a storyteller. Would you mind describing the person I was chasing?
Hard to know. Dark hair, short, scrouched over. They look like, at this point, don't all the Sabbat look alike?
I'm on tower business. You wouldn't have happened to see anything odd run through your establishment? I know that's a strange sentence for our kind, but...
So much for the masquerade, then. No, it's been just me in here, but, yeah, I can be of service. Who are you looking for? I tend to linger around these parts plenty.
Well, and I'll glance around and make sure there's no one else in the establishment.
Roll me 6 dice, Victoria. 1 dice for your hunger.
That's only 2 successes, but I'm going to willpower it.
Go for it. You have 8 willpower to spend.
3 for me as well.
So both of you hear what sounds like a commotion coming from somewhere in this building, maybe in the kitchen area. But it's not loud or overt. It could just be Conanti, some of your followers. You do have many mortal followers. They could be making a snack. I'm not sure.
Do you mind if I take a look?
Not at all. Please allow me to accompany you, Miss.
Victoria. You may call me Victoria.
Victoria. My name's Conanti, AP Conanti. Please, come this way.
So you both walk through the establishment. Conanti, you leading the way. This is very nice. Victoria, it doesn't look like it has much use. Everything looks very clean and pristine. Maybe Conanti just takes his domains very seriously. But he pushes open the swinging door that leads to the kitchen, and all of you see 2 people. Conanti, you recognize them as your followers. And they are holding on to this pale, scrunched, almost feral-looking person who's screaming, but they have their hand over his mouth, demanding to be let go.
Do I know the person that they're holding, or is
You do not. Liam, however, says to you, "Boss, this guy is trying to hide in here."
Oh, and I turn to Victoria. Is this your missing person?
That he would be. Bit of a troublemaker, this one. If you truly have concerns about the masquerade, I would be happy to take him off your hands.
Concerns about the masquerade are here nor there, but I do have concerns about people interfering in my establishments. Storyteller, is this person still flailing and struggling?
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk right up to him and go, "How about we calm things down just a little bit?" And I'll drop my sunglasses a bit, and I'm going to activate Eyes of the Serpent.
Mm-hmm.
That is their wits and composure against my charisma and presence.
Well, unfortunately, that gives them only 4 dice.
Oh well.
Wits and composure, not. I somehow rolled 4 successes on 4 dice. I don't know.
I still wrote 6.
Awesome. Okay. So, this person becomes completely paralyzed. You watch Victoria as Conanti stares at them. It's not a power that you yourself have seen. You're not familiar with it. You're not quite sure what clan this person hails from, but it is not one that you have commonly run across, at the very least. And this person becomes completely paralyzed, staring at Conanti with a face of total fear.
Picking on awe at that point, I'll just say to this person, "Now, are we going to behave ourselves?"
I thought I'd be safe. I thought I'd be safe hiding with you.
You could have been safe if you talked to me first, but you just wandered in and somebody wandered in looking for you, and now here we are.
But you're not one of them. You're not Cam.
I'm my own person. And as my own person, I still require respect. Like I said, you came in and talked to me first. It could have gone differently, but as far as I came to know, somebody broke into my establishment and somebody from the Camarilla came hunting.
Enemy of my enemy. Ever heard of it?
If we follow enemy of my enemy, what friends do we have left?
He looks at you, Victoria. Gonna kill me? Go ahead. Just get it over with.
So eager. I'll look to Conanti. I am hesitant to cause a mess in your establishment since you have been kind enough to let me peruse. I appreciate it. This will not go unheard.
If you're in need of immediate disposal, I can let you use the parts of the kitchen, so long as I know the reason.
Well, this one and his friends, they tend to be messy eaters. How you say? Causing a little too much noise, being a little too sloppy. Don't want to bring the humans down on us.
Can't fault people for their appetites, but I do understand the need for precaution.
Of course. I wouldn't normally fault someone for taking care of their own needs, but when it threatens the safety of the rest of us, well, something must be done.
Absolutely.
The person tries to shake this off, this effect, but can't. But he turns back to you, Conanti. She's the fucking grandchild of a Justicar. You're gonna give me to her? May as well join the fucking tower.
Well, my new friend, he does have a bit of a point there, I'm afraid. So I'm going to give you both a nice little middle ground. I'm going to wave my associate to let go of him.
Liam does.
I still have him locked, and speaking to Victoria, I'll say, I gave you a chance to catch up to him. Now, I'm going to let him go. Now, if you catch him, then so be it. And if you get away again, well, so be it. We got a deal?
I suppose it's only fair.
You seem like you like a hunt anyway.
I'll laugh, and as I do, my fangs will drop a little. You're not wrong. He is correct. And being the grandchild of a Justicar, I imagine I'd be a good friend to have in your pocket,
You would. You would. And that's why I'm going to make sure that you know the count when I let him go. I'm going to look right at the Sabbat guy and go, I get your running shoes ready, friend.
Do you let him go?
I actually count on your mark, get set, and I put my sunglasses on and say, go, and step back.
He immediately starts running. Victoria, would you like to kill him just outside the door, or would you like to let him run and leave the Conanti here, or what would you like to do?
I'll let him get just past the door, but then I think I would like to... Well, this Conanti character is so interesting. It's a shame that I have to run, so I think, Storyteller, would I be able to use Blink to catch up?
Most certainly. Make me a RAS check.
At the success.
So, as he starts running, Conanti, you watch Victoria appear suddenly in front of him just as he crosses the threshold of the door outside, leading out to where the dumpsters would be. And Victoria, how would you like to bring him to his final death?
I'm going to pop his head off like a grape.
See how, believe for you, that is strength and brawl, which should be 10 dice for you.
Oh, yeah.
Since he's already injured from the fighting before, don't need that many successes.
That's 7 successes.
With 7 successes, Conanti, you watch her pop his head off as if she's squeezing no more than a grape. And his body begins to crumble, mummify, right on your doorstep.
I'll turn to my associates and go, grab a dustpan.
Oh, I can handle that.
You're too kind.
It's only fair for me to clean up my own mess, is it not?
I respect your convictions.
I will take the broom and dustpan from Conanti's followers. Very neatly, tidily mop up the dusted vampire.
Yeah, it says he's still turning into dust as you do this, so you're getting, bits and pieces of jaw and teeth, but eventually they all turn to dust as you do it, as you sweep. And into the bin it goes.
Where it belongs.
Well, I'm happy that I could be of service to you, Victoria, grandchild of the Justicar, grandsire of the Justicar.
Thank you. Again, your help is most appreciated. I do apologize for interrupting your evening, though.
The evening was just about wrapped up, and you've made it even more interesting than it was before. My thanks is all mine. Now, our friend was correct. I am not Camarilla, but I'm not aligned with him. Call myself a third party, as it were. But in situations such as this, I'm happy to be of service.
I may be Camarilla, but I respect and appreciate the desire to run independent. The constraints are not for everyone.
And I respect the ability to wield one's desires for a greater good.
It's, I guess you could call it the family business.
It's more than just business, though, ain't it? I saw your face on it. You're good at it. You like being good at it.
When you've been around as long as I have, you need to find the joy where you can. No?
I know exactly what you mean.
Forgive me, but I do not think I have encountered someone with your skill set before.
I do consider myself a bit of a rarity. But I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Really? And this is said with with some amusement.
So long as you don't hold it against me.
No.
So many people tend to.
As long as you live your life without making mine more difficult, I don't care much.
That is certainly the plan. I would like to live my life free and unimpeded. It's the life of experience. I will take my sunglasses off, not activating eye discernment, but just sort of revealing the slightly more scaled eyes. I am a follower of Set. As I said, a bit of an independent party.
Storyteller, does the title ring any bells?
Most assuredly. They are sort of on the fringes of kindred society. You've been in domains where they've been problems to a greater or lesser degree. You've been in some domains where they supposedly have none. In general, they have tended to hang out more around the Anarchs and the Camarilla. And you have known some kindred in both the Anarchs and the Camarilla who have used the followers of Set to get things, to procure things that neither faction would look favorably on, such as particular drugs to feed their ghouls or their blood dolls, or they're just able to get things that other kindred aren't through ways you likely wouldn't understand. It's not really your style.
But all sounds to me like a good friend to have.
You sound like a good friend to have as well, Miss Victoria. I can see we can be fast friends.
I think I would like that.
Well, welcome to my establishment, and please do drop in anytime.
And should you find yourself at Elysium, please don't hesitate to come find me.
You know, I haven't found myself willing to drop in, but I could certainly make an exception now.
Well, then I hope I will see you again soon.
This friendship, Victoria, was not meant to last. And you knew that. From the moment he told you that he was neither Camarilla nor Anarch, not even Sabbat. You knew Conanti's methods and beliefs as you got to know him more over the years would not be tolerated by the Ivory Tower. And as you ran into him in different cities, you would try and shoo him away from different domains without violence. But eventually, your grandsire wanted an end to the constant grumbling of princes about troublesome snakes on their turf. The year is 1973. You're in San Francisco. And your grandsire Xavier towers over you, well over 7 feet tall, staring down at you, his large Zweihände, two-handed sword on his back. It is enough, child. I have sent you to countless domains to root out this Setite, and every time you return, I hear he pops up again. Explain yourself, now.
They may be troublesome, but the followers of Set have connections that we might not otherwise get.
That is all well and good. But this one makes trouble wherever he goes, and he is more than a simple snake. He is a cultist, a cult leader, and he is a masquerade breach. Why will you not end him? When I send you to a mission, Victoria, I expect you to complete it. That is your role as my Archon. Let me remind you what I can do. And you feel this sudden pull in your soul, in your heart, in your mind. Your blood in your body sings out to him, wishing to be manipulated by him. You don't know what this is or what this means, but you likely attribute it to something to do with your bloodline. Don't make me do this to you. We will go together now to his discotheque, and we will end it. Kindred and kine.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Get your weapons.
I will. There is a pause. I cannot deny that there is a pause, but I have my duties, and I cannot deny my bloodline, can I?
Xavier certainly thinks so. Flashes of blood. Your grandsire's Zweihände cutting down Conanti's people, human and vampire alike. Conanti's face of horror as he stares down at you from his balcony in the discotheque. A face of pure hatred before fleeing. This was the start, Victoria. But it's not the end, not yet. There would be more blood and more violence in your position as Archon, and the Camarilla would never show their gratitude. The time would come that Xavier would call for all Gangrel to leave the Ivory Tower and join the growing movement of Anarchs. This would bring you, your sire, and many more Gangrel to find their place away from Camarilla domains. And your sire settled on Myrtle Beach, place in South Carolina, colloquially known as the Grand Strand. But this new life of leisure and taking some time getting used to. This is not your cup of tea. This is not the unlife that you have led for so many years. Your sire, however, takes to it instantly and becomes known amongst the kindred that came with you, many Gangrel, as their sofa baron. Of course, they say it behind his back. And as you return from your nightly patrol, you see someone in your sire's haven, Alligator Adventure, bent down administering what looks like medical checkups on your sire Diego's alligators, your father Diego's alligators. Galen, would you like to tell Victoria what she sees, what you're wearing, and if your third eye is visible?
So right now, my third eye is not all that visible. But what you'll see, Victoria, is Galen wearing much like what I'm wearing now, which is kind of like a blue polo, just knelt over an alligator, currently inspecting its teeth. So got its mouth open and just taking a look in there with a little headlamp on.
Victoria, when you see him, when he turns around, You've never seen a person in 200 years who looks as much like Ignacio as Galen does. He's missing the sun-kissed farmer's tan, and he might be a little bit taller and leaner, but it as if it was Ignacio reborn. The way he looks at the animals, the way he handles the animals, and your sire is in total delight and standing over Galen and making sure that he's not harming the alligators.
I think that alone would be enough to stop me in my tracks and just watch. Marvel.
I assume I've seen her come in, right?
No, you have your head in an alligator right now. You're a little
Perfect.
busy.
Yeah, yep, I'm a little focused.
And Victoria is a person that you have not met yet. You were here in the Grand Strand long before Lencho and his gangrel showed up. You were sort of just living in a place where there weren't a lot of vampires and laying low, but, they came in and they're a little bit stronger and more numerous than you, so may as well make yourself useful, as not to make yourself a snack. Lencho stands up and turns around and he says, Mia, look, I have found a doctor.
I can see that, Papa.
Yeah, see, he is an animal doctor. Look at the way he sticks his head in the mouth of the alligator. Is no fear.
I was going to say, either a very brave one or a very stupid one.
Probably both. Yes, he is one of the Cyclopses. I've never met one before. I did not think they were really real.
I will approach, wander over slowly. Galen, at some point, if you look over, you will probably see a pair of scuffed but well-worn Doc Martens. Just kind of stomp into your field of vision.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll look up from the gator. You look like you... Don't worry, I'm not going to get bit. I've done this before. Are you okay? Seem a little shaken.
Lo siento. I'm fine. Thank you. You just, you remind me of someone.
Can't say I get that too much, but I'll take it as a compliment.
You should.
Thank you. Can I help you with anything?
No, I just, it's been a while since we've had someone come in, I suppose you could say on our schedule.
Yeah, I could tell. These gators, I mean, some of them got abscesses. Like, could you not smell their breath? Or
I don't tend to let my face get that close.
Yeah. You know, the moment I asked that question, I realized that it was dumb.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, these guys were in need of a checkup.
So are you saying that my blood to the alligators is not enough to keep them healthy? They need the checkups to brush their teeth or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just your blood, right? Gators aren't the smartest animals in the world, so even if
you better watch it.
Even if you do feed them enough, they'll still chew on things they shouldn't, try to eat other stuff that'll get
Should
caught
I
in
buy
there.
them actual food too?
Probably, yeah. That'll help them keep their mouth clean too, because part of how they clean their mouth is through eating. So,
and I can't, I can't just let them go into the city to eat. I have to bring food here. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, we've talked, Papa. We've talked about this.
now, if you want to save money, I'm sure you can get in contact with local wildlife services or animal control, and they can bring you roadkill, deer, stuff like that. There's generally enough of it to go around.
Lencho just reaches into his pocket and pulls out a rosary that you recognize Victoria's. Rosary that, same one his sister had, your tia. I'll just sell this for money. It doesn't matter. Oh, you want it? Do you miss Maria so much that you want this? She's been dead for 200 years.
Yes, she has, but those connections are important.
Look, you don't need to sell anything, really. Like, animal control is looking to get rid of a lot of dead deer that they otherwise don't have anything to do with.
Yes, well, you will take care of that for me since I am your baron.
Not a problem.
You see, we used to be in the Camarilla. We did not have to worry about these things. You see, now we are anarch. And now we have to worry about every pinching every penny or whatever the phrase is.
I think I look moderately embarrassed. It's like dealing with your boomer father, who is saying things that are, how they say, out of pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Galen, that's what you see. You see I sort of put head.
Yes, Galen,
hand.
you are not a Spanish speaker, but the language they're using is not so overt that you don't know what they're talking about. You are getting the feeling that these are not only sire and child, but they were once father and daughter in life. Mm-hmm. The way that they argue.
Yeah. Well, things are different around here, and it can be a little bit tough to sort of step outside the way of life that you're used to. But if you reach out and if you put your best foot forward, you'll find people around here generally pretty helpful.
We just tried to eliminate all the Hikata because don't want them here. But are you saying I should have been diplomatic?
Well, you can't undo what's been done already, so I won't comment on that. But I'll say that around here, generally speaking, you can get by if you do that, right? There aren't the hard power structures that there necessarily will be in Camarilla areas. However, that doesn't mean that things are just, brutal and cutthroat all the time. They can be, but...
He looks at you, Victoria, and says in Spanish, he sounds like he's never been in the Ivory Tower. Do you think he's always been an anarch?
In Spanish, I will reply, it's possible. Some people just don't fit in. They don't deal with that sort of structure or that sort of brutality. And I don't think this one would want that sort of brutality.
And in Spanish, he replies, good. You learn from him. You learn from him, and you teach me how to be an anarch. And it's very annoying, Galen, that they're speaking in a language you don't understand to each other while you stand there.
Galen's too polite to say anything about it.
Sure is.
It's like...
And Lensho turns around and he says, "You teach my child all of your anarchist ways, so we can run the city better. And you take care of my alligators, and I won't eat you. How does that sound?"
Well, first, it's anarch, not anarchist. No disrespect meant, of course. And none taken. Are you sure I'm the best person? Because the way I do things, most people think I'm just a veterinarian. Like, I'm not all that involved in the nitty-gritty here. I just kind of keep my head down.
The only other kindred that are here that we have discovered is the Hikata, and I think I got rid of all of them, but I'm sure Victoria will root out any more if there are any. And so you're all we got.
And I guess I don't have much of a choice in this matter, so...
Not really.
And I graciously accept.
Wonderful. I'm going to take my constitutional.
All right.
Buenas noches, Papa.
Yeah, I'm going to purview my new domain. As I'm in charge now, Victoria, you know this. Aren't you proud of your papa?
So proud. So incredibly proud.
Buenas noches.
I'm sorry.
You got nothing to apologize for.
Yeah.
People around here they're an odd bunch. He's not that far off from the crazier stuff. I'm a veterinarian. I deal with gators. People have got like cassowaries and stuff. You wouldn't believe it.
A cassowa?
It's a giant. You know an ostrich?
Yes.
Think about an ostrich, but it just really wants to kill you.
Well, that's impressive because ostrich are also, from what I understand, they are also kind of mean bastards.
Yeah, the cassowaries are meaner. They can hear your heartbeat, and they have like raptor claws on their foot that they can just get you.
That is terrifying.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that's the
What-
advantage of not having a heartbeat. They don't see me as potential prey.
well, I know you say I do not have anything to apologize for, but he is, how you say, curmudgeonly in his old age.
Old-fashioned.
Yeah,
We'll say old-fashioned, just to be
Old-
polite.
he's an old coot.
Yeah. So
What do they call you?
they call me Galen. I'm Galen, just Galen.
Just Galen?
No need for anything fancy.
No, doctor.
I mean, you could call me Dr. Somnus, but I don't know. That seems a little bit too much.
A little more formal than I think I like.
Yeah. So, are you just like with me now?
It would seem that way.
Okay. If you want, I can show you I can take you on a little tour of the strip, maybe, or I could just take you to the veterinary clinic and got some stuff I could work on there. It's your call.
Well, the night is still young. Why don't we go to the strip?
Which establishment on the strip would you like to take, Victoria?
Well, I'm gonna just drive around showing the various places, like Pirate's Voyage and some of the resorts.
Well, there's no Pirate's Voyage yet.
Oh.
Hunter is not on the Grand Strand yet.
Dude, that's right. That's right.
Not there yet. The only establishment that you would know is owned by a kindred, although Lencho might not know it, is the Treasure Club, owned by a caitiff named Ike.
Yeah, I mean, we could head down there. We could head to the Treasure Club, which is kindred owned, or we could just go to somewhere.
Could even go to the beach, go to the boardwalk, go to the Sky Wheel.
Have you been to the boardwalk yet?
I don't think I have. No.
It's fun. Come on. And I'll click I'll unlock my Prius. Hop in the ride, I guess.
Yeah, gonna hop in Galen's whip, a 2002 Prius. Very
proud of this car. It goes 0 to 60 in theory.
Yeah, and you're gonna head down to the strip. Windows open or closed, Galen? I'm asking for no reason at all.
Windows open. It's
Windows
nice
open.
night.
Then I need both of you to make me a Rouse check, please.
Oh, fuck.
The strip smells fantastic. Ask Conanti.
That is that's a success.
I think it's probably your first of the entire Chronicle, Harry.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, consistently, I have the worst roll. And it's a 10, too.
Excellent.
There goes all my luck for the entire session.
Yep, that's it.
And now you're fucked. That is a rousing success for me.
All right, so neither of you feel the call of your beast, even as you enter into the bright lights. Now, where Alligator Adventures is not dim by any means, but it's not on the strip, sort of a strip adjacent. But as you enter onto the strip, it is all palm trees, neon lights, hotels, clubs, bars. It is happening. It is the vacation spot of the Southeast, and it's the height of summer. It doesn't get much better than this. And as you pull onto the parking lot to walk onto the boardwalk, you see the giant sky wheel behind you, lit up in all of its neon colors. You smell cotton candy and other things that wouldn't be appetizing to you as kindred. And of course, you hear the waves crashing against the pier over and over and over again. Where would you like to take her? Would you like to go on the sky wheel? Would you like to head on, just stare at the ocean? What would you like to do?
Well, you can stare at the ocean from the sky wheel. I think that'd be fun. I mean, it's not like we can go get a drink. They don't exactly serve what we're looking for. I mean, we could go get a drink, but there's a lot of people around, so...
And I think that might still be frowned upon.
Yeah. I don't know how they'd take it. I have a reputation to uphold, of course.
Oh, you do? You have a reputation.
No, not at all.
You are very charming.
Thank you. I try my best. Being around animals all day, weirdly enough, tends not to do that to you. So,
Shall we go?
We shall. Onwards to the Sky Wheel.
So, you head onto the Sky Wheel. It is who pays for the ticket?
I'll pay
$2.
for the ticket. I just got paid. For the crocodiles. Or alligators, not crocodiles.
Well, you got paid by not getting eaten, but you get paid well enough at your clinic.
Yeah.
And you hand $2 off to the attendant, and they give you tickets. You get into the Sky Wheel. Starts off slow, of course. Comes up to one center. So you're staring out over the strip, not over the ocean yet. And eventually it'll climb up to the top. But right now you're just staring out over the lights of the strip in your new life, your new unlife, Victoria, where you have no direction, no purpose anymore. You are not Camarilla anymore. And you don't know what you're going to do with the innumerable years you have in front of you.
How long have you been kindred, Galen?
Not long. All of this is still pretty new to me.
You are still a baby.
I feel like I've seen a little bit, but you're right that I don't have the experience that a lot of my contemporaries do.
I have seen almost 2 centuries.
Well, you don't look a day over 1, so...
It's very generous of you. It's strange watching all of this crop up, watching the lights get brighter and brighter, and the humans louder and louder.
Yeah. I mean, even within my lifetime, a lot's changed here. A lot.
It's the last thing you remember before your new unlife.
Well, I was in school. I was really, really stressed about finals. I took the finals. And, I mean, I was walking home. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Like a bolt from the blue?
Like a bolt from the blue. There's other stuff, but that all came after.
Other stuff?
Other
I'm sorry.
people.
That is incredibly nosy of me.
No, it's only natural.
The Sky Wheel then jolts a little bit and starts moving up. So now you have you're at the top, not only a perfect bird's eye view of the strip, but of all of Myrtle Beach proper. Not the entirety of the Grand Strand, but of Myrtle Beach proper. You can see Alligator Adventure from here, and beyond it, Galen, you can see your clinic from here all the way in Little River.
See that little building there? Blue roof?
Yes.
That's my clinic. That's where I'm headed after this. I don't know, I'm pretty proud of it. It's not much, but...
Galen, can I get a wits and insight roll from you, please?
Absolutely. Where is the insight? There it is.
If you get a messy, I'm so serious with you. Kick you right out of this Chronicle.
Success. One success.
Do you have any willpower to spend?
Yes,
you should
and
have
I'm going to spend it.
Is this... Do you always... Oh, no.
Harry has never rolled well. I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
My friend Clara.
Don't know what it is.
Like shit every time.
So just one success?
Yeah, one success.
Well,
I'm done. I want that 110. It's the only bit of good luck I'm ever getting in my life.
Well, from the conversation that you're having, this very small information, you're getting the feeling of 2 things. One, something you can glean based on Victoria saying she's 2 centuries old. You think she's never been on a Ferris wheel before. And 2, you're getting the feeling that whatever she did before she came to the Grand Strand, she didn't have a lot of friends or maybe didn't talk to people. Like, you're sort of getting this feeling that she was a workaholic, but you can't quite put your finger on, like, what that might have been because you rolled one success.
Yeah. So how about you? What's your thing?
My thing?
Yeah, your thing. Everybody's got a thing. I do animals. You know. Let me rephrase that. I'm a veterinarian. What was that you were saying about me being charming?
I think it still stands.
Glad to hear it.
I suppose you could say I was a hunter.
And I feel like I don't need to press too much, but with our type, when someone describes themselves as a hunter, that's generally not generally hunt people like us.
Don't worry, little Cyclops. I'm not here for you.
Oh, if you wanted to kill me, you'd have done it already.
That too. No, we, my sire and I, we were Camarilla. And it was my duty to keep the tower safe. So that's what I did. Hunted, fought, killed. Very glamorous.
Well, sounds rough, but it beats spending your week with your arm up a cow's ass.
Or your head in an alligator's mouth?
Yeah. That's kind of the exciting part.
It's just been, it's been a long time since we settled, I guess you could say.
Speaking of which, why here? I mean, surely there's other places. New York, LA, Atlanta, all of these cities, and you wind up in Myrtle Beach. I mean, I don't want to rag on Myrtle Beach too much, but I assume, a few centuries, you probably had some investments. You're probably not doing too terribly for yourself. So...
Gangrel, we, well, we don't really settle like many of the other kindred do. We don't, invest like the Blue Bloods. We don't have our obsessions like the Roses. I've seen a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different cities. I saw the Eiffel Tower when it was first unveiled.
So how does Myrtle Beach compare? Is this the Paris of the East Coast?
I don't think I could say that, but it has...
It has its charms.
And I'll look directly at Galen as I say, yes, it does.
I set that up.
The Ferris wheel continues moving, and now you are overlooking. It's kind of a freaky feeling, especially for humans, but maybe not for you guys. But you're now completely over the ocean. If you look down, you see ocean. You look forward, you see ocean. And it's beautiful, Victoria. It's dark blue. The stars of the sky shine on it, as well as the neon lights of the Ferris wheel. And I would like to know, would you like to show off for Galen?
I think I would.
So, I need a rouse check, please.
Get a little hungrier.
You get a little hungrier? So, Galen, you watch Victoria suddenly start moving their shoulders back, cracking their neck, getting comfortable. And Victoria, you may say something before you do this.
Would you like to see something?
Depends on what it is, but I have a feeling that this question is rhetorical.
I think you'll enjoy it.
And before your eyes, Galen, you watch the form of Victoria shrink down shift, morph, feathers sprouting from their skin, their face contorting into something angular, like a bird. And in a matter of seconds, Victoria is a very large, ferocious-looking albatross. And she flies out over the ocean right in front of you. Very controlled flight. And she stops and remains in flight, staring at you. Of course, you cannot speak in this form, Victoria, but he can see you.
I'll swoop back up and do like a dive bomb and just like skim the top of his head with my little feet.
You're an albatross, they're not little.
But this is a very large and the ferocious looking. The beak is very curved and large and horned almost. You might say like a horned bird from the way it looks in the forehead. So this is Galen. This you can tell instantly that this is no natural bird.
I'll bop him on the head with my foot.
Hey!
And would you like to return to the seat? Hopefully no human saw you.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's fine too.
Yeah, I'll swoop back around, come to land.
Or would you like to? You can go down and get a fish. I mean, you can impress him however you'd like to.
Actually, yeah, let's go like do a little like skim over the water before I swoop back up.
Galen, do you look down from the steering? Of
course, yeah.
Yeah. You see Victoria almost doing like a dance. It's strange to see an albatross act this way because they are generally no one would classify them as graceful or delicate birds.
Yeah.
But Victoria makes it look very graceful and very enchanting. And as she swoops back up and the bird lands next to you, you see Victoria return to her form.
Bravo!
Thank you.
So can you do the thing where you lock your wings and like turn off half your brain and just cruise?
I haven't tried that in a very long time.
Galen, would you like to show off for Victoria?
Sure, yeah.
Would you like to use Obeah?
Can I show you something?
Yes.
A simple, I guess you'd call it a touch of the mind. I hope you're not too hungry.
So, Victoria, you see him grab a handkerchief out of his pocket and hold it up to his head. Not really sure why. You've never met a salubri before. You didn't know they were real. And he takes your hand. He takes your hand, and you feel a light emanating, starting from his hand, and it passes through into your body, travels up your arm, permeates and blooms in your chest, travels up your mind. And were you missing any willpower, you could restore it, and you feel suddenly extraordinarily calm and at ease, perhaps as calm as you felt since before you came to Myrtle Beach.
Oh. Oh my, that is remarkable.
Well, I can't turn into a bird, so this is what I got.
But that doesn't make it any less special.
Also a little less flashy, but...
I've always been a bit of a showboat.
Well, if you got it, flaunt it, you know?
And as you finish your ride on the Skywheel, Victoria, this was, of course, the night that you met Galen, and the night that you began your relationship, your love affair, however it is that you would want to phrase it. One that has lasted into modern nights, the one that you cling to, the one that has not disappointed you quite so much as some of the others. The one that you are willing to give yourself to before the beckoning can claim you. And as you are still reliving this memory, this beautiful memory of your first night with Galen, all of a sudden, you can move again, you can blink, you can speak, you are back in Pirate's Voyage on the floor, someone has taken the stake out of your chest, and the person looking at you, I need you to roll 5 dice, please, to see if you remember who they are.
4 successes?
That's enough. Takes you a second, you blink, At first you don't recognize them. You're not quite sure why. That's strange for you. But then you remember this is Hunter's ghoul. His name's Caden. You've met him a few times. You don't know him that well, but he is the one who pulled your stake out of your heart. And he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Miss Victoria, your blood is all over the floor. You've been crying since you've been down here, and I was worried. I was scared that you might be hurt or something might be wrong, and I couldn't leave you like that. Hunter would be real mad. So would Galen, probably."
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's, necessary evil.
You have a very large hole in your chest, miss.
That would be what the steak does.
If you're hungry, I will provide you with sustenance of some kind. That's my job.
I guess the storyteller, what is my hunger level right now?
Right now, your hunger is at 1. You have not been in here very long.
No, it's all right. I promise.
I believe Hunter and Galen have returned. I'll take you upstairs.
Please.
And that is where we will end Episode 1, I Can't Forget You, for this evening. Thank you, everyone.